The Millionaire's twins were blind, until the new black maid changed everything. Where are you watching from? Type your city in the comments. You might just get a shout out in the next video. Hit like and subscribe for some good luck today. The mansion at the top of Ashford Hills was the kind of place people slowed down to admire. Its sprawling gardens, marble pillars, and towering iron gates announced power, wealth, and untouchable luxury. But inside, behind all that shine and polish, the air was heavy with silence, sadness, and secrets. For years, the wealthy Harrington family had hidden a truth the world rarely glimpsed. Their beloved twins, Ethan and Emily, had been born blind. The children were 8 years old now, beautiful, intelligent, and full of spirit, but trapped in a world without light. Their father, Richard Harrington, a self-made millionaire who had built an empire in real estate, was a man used to buying solutions. He had spared no expense, surgeries, therapies, experimental treatments in Switzerland, but nothing worked. Each disappointment carved away at his hope, leaving him bitter and cold. Their mother, Claire, had been fragile since the birth, carrying guilt like a permanent shadow. She was kind, but withdrawn, unable to face the stares of outsiders. And so the family lived like prisoners in their own palace, the twins protected but isolated, sheltered from the world Richard thought was too cruel for them. But everything changed the day Naomi arrived. Naomi wasn't who Richard Harrington had in mind when he sent for another maid. She was young, barely 22, with deep brown skin, strong arms, and a quiet determination in her eyes. She wore second-hand shoes, carried a faded satchel, and spoke with the soft cadence of someone who had seen too much of life too soon. Richard nearly dismissed her at first sight. She didn't look polished, didn't carry the posture of a servant used to wealth. But Claire, desperate for help, insisted. And so Naomi was hired. From her first day, Naomi saw what others ignored. The house was immaculate, gleaming with chandeliers and gold frames, yet hollow with loneliness. The twins weren't allowed to explore. They stayed in the West Wing, their world limited to carefully arranged furniture and silent halls. Tutors came and went, all with strict routines. The children were obedient, but Naomi noticed their fingers twitch restlessly, their voices carrying unasked questions, their laughter strangled by rules. On her third day, as she folded laundry in the hallway, Naomi heard Ethan whisper to Emily, "Do you think the sky feels different when it's blue?" Emily giggled. "I don't know. Maybe it's warmer than gray." Naomi froze. In that single moment, she realized what they had been denied. Nobody fed their imaginations. Nobody dared show them the world beyond their blindness. They weren't just blind in sight, they were blind in spirit. And Naomi decided that would change. It started small. She took them to the kitchen late at night, when Richard was away on business, and let them touch the fruits. "This is an orange," she said, guiding their hands. "Round, smooth, but with tiny bumps. Smell it. That's sunshine locked inside." The twins laughed, pressing it to their faces. "Sunshine." Emily squealed. The next night, she snuck them outside into the garden. They ran barefoot across the cool grass, their hands outstretched. Naomi described everything. "The flowers are roses, soft on the outside, but with thorns like tiny teeth. The wind, that's the world breathing. And those sounds above you, those are crickets singing to the night." For the first time in their lives, the twins tasted freedom. But secrets in a mansion don't stay hidden long. One afternoon, Richard came home early and caught them in the garden. Ethan's shirt was grass-stained, Emily's hair wild, and Naomi stood laughing with them. Richard's face turned to stone. "What is this nonsense?" he thundered. "They'll trip. They'll hurt themselves. Do you know how much I've spent protecting them?" Naomi didn't flinch. "Sir, you've spent years protecting their bodies, but who's protecting their souls?" The word struck like lightning, but Richard dismissed her as insolent. He threatened to fire her, but Claire intervened. For the first time in years, she had seen her children truly smile. She begged Richard to let Naomi stay. Reluctantly, he agreed, but with a warning, "One mistake, and you're gone." Naomi understood. But she also knew something else, something she hadn't told anyone. Back in her village, Naomi's grandmother had been a healer. She believed in things science could not measure, the power of the mind, the strength of faith, the hidden energy of touch. As a child, Naomi had watched her grandmother lay hands on the sick, guiding them with patience, teaching them that healing was not only medicine but belief. Naomi carried those lessons with her like invisible treasures. So when she held the twins' hands, she didn't just guide them through rooms. She whispered affirmations. She told them stories of light, of colors, of mountains glowing in dawn and rivers glittering at sunset. She planted visions in their minds, painting worlds they had never seen. Slowly, their blind eyes began to sparkle with something no doctor had given them, hope. But storms were coming. One night, while Naomi was teaching the twins how to dance barefoot in the music room, Richard walked in again. This time, he didn't shout. He simply stood, watching. Something twisted inside him, anger, yes, but also jealousy. Jealousy that his children clung to this maid more than to him. Jealousy that she could give them what his millions never had. Later that night, he confronted Claire. "She's filling their heads with nonsense," he snapped. Claire's voice trembled, but she stood her ground. "She's giving them something we never did, life. Don't you see it, Richard? They're happier. Happiness won't cure blindness." "Maybe not. But unhappiness certainly won't." It was the first time Claire ever raised her voice against him. Richard fell silent. Weeks passed. Naomi continued her secret lessons, but now with Claire's quiet blessing. She taught the twins how to identify stars by touch, gluing tiny beads on paper to mimic constellations. She described rainbows, not as colors, but as music. Red is the deep drum. Orange is the horn. Yellow is the flute. Green is the violin. Blue is the cello. Indigo is the whisper of wind. And violet, the soft piano at night. The children absorbed every word. And then, something unexplainable began. Emily was the first. One morning, as Naomi held her hand near the window, Emily froze. "Wait, what's that?" "What's what?" Naomi asked. There's brightness. It hurts a little. But I think I see it." Naomi's heart pounded. Could it be? She rushed Emily to Claire, who nearly fainted. Doctors were summoned, and though they insisted no miracle had occurred, they admitted something shocking. Emily's optic nerves showed faint signs of activity they had declared impossible years ago. Soon after, Ethan began describing flashes and shadows. Both twins were changing. Naomi knew it wasn't her. It was them, their belief, their spirit awakening. Her grandmother's voice echoed in her mind. The body follows the soul. Heal the soul, and the body remembers its path. But Richard refused to believe. Coincidence, he growled. It's just a phase. Don't get their hopes up. Yet, late at night, Richard found himself standing outside the twins' door, listening to their laughter, their whispered dreams of seeing stars one day. And for the first time in years, he wept. The breakthrough came on a stormy night. Thunder rattled the mansion, and the lights flickered out. The twins, frightened, clung to Naomi. She held them tight and whispered, "You're braver than the dark. Listen, it's just the sky roaring." Suddenly, Ethan gasped. "Naomi, I see it. A light. Like fire in the sky." Emily cried out too, describing the flash of lightning. When the lights returned, the twins blinked rapidly, shielding their eyes. Richard and Claire stared in disbelief as their children described colors. Messy, jumbled, faint, but real. The Harrington mansion erupted in chaos. Doctors confirmed what no one could explain. The twins were regaining sight. Not fully, not perfectly, but undeniably. Richard fell to his knees before Naomi. The proud millionaire, who believed money could buy everything, now bowed before the maid he had once scorned. His voice cracked. "How did you? Why did you?" Naomi simply smiled. "I didn't heal them, sir. They healed themselves. I only gave them the courage to believe it was possible." In the months that followed, the twins grew stronger. Their sight improved steadily, though not completely. But they didn't care. To them, every glimpse of color, every flicker of light was a miracle. They began painting, drawing wild swirls of suns and rivers, filling the once sterile mansion with life. Richard changed too. He spent less time in boardrooms, more time in gardens. He walked with his children, sometimes letting them guide him instead of the other way around. Claire bloomed, her laughter returning after years of silence. And Naomi became family. No longer just a maid, but a sister, a daughter, an angel they would never forget. And so, the Harrington mansion, once filled with shadows, now glowed with a new kind of light, one no chandelier could provide. Because sometimes, the greatest miracles don't come from money, science, or power. Sometimes, they come from love, patience, and the courage to believe in what others call impossible. Moral of the story. Wealth can buy comfort, but not healing. True transformation begins when someone dares to care, to nurture, and to believe. Never underestimate the power of love. It can open eyes that were once blind, and light up hearts that had long lived in darkness.